Mr. Redding, thanks for all the work. There's a lot going on, to say the least. IRS is being tapped right now to both send checks when you're really designed to be able to receive taxes and be able to process those efficiently. There is a tremendous backlog right now that you're working through, I understand. Can you give us an update on backlog on mail coming in and what the status is for being able to answer mail? We still get a tremendous amount of calls, people saying they're calling the office trying to be able to get through as well. So help us understand the status on that.
We are current on our mail, which means that we have a more typical backlog, which is about 1 million pieces of mail being processed. In terms of returns, we have about 1.7 million returns that came in during 2020, and that is a priority for us to get through those returns. In terms of level of service and the phone calls, the volume of inbounds has gone up probably as much as 4 times, depending upon the time of the day. I think I might have indicated earlier that we have received as many as 1,500 phone calls per second on some of the days. Our IRS.gov has had over 1 billion hits in calendar year 21. And one of the issues is that the level of service and the staffing and whatnot inherent with that is determined about 2 years in advance, and it's an appropriated item. We did get budget to bring on board 1,000 people and from the last act, and those people are in training. It takes 14 weeks to train them, to get them on the phones, because obviously somebody who's trained is better on the phones than somebody who's not trained. So all I can really say is we appreciate the patience and understanding of everyone. We are operating, I used a term earlier, all hands on deck. We are doing that everywhere. A lot of these activities, we cannot take somebody from one position and move them to another. One, we need them in that position. 2, they might not be trained. But what we have done, where people have moved off of a certain position and they were previously trained, we have taken those folks back into that position to try to do our best. And we get it, that it's far from perfect.
Great. All right, that's helpful to be able to get the update and be able to get that out. Economic impact payments, when they went out last year, individuals that received those checks were fine. They received those. Others that didn't receive it for whatever reason, they can then file it on their taxes. What I'm finding from some of my constituents now is that they filed it on their taxes, and if they had outstanding debt, that debt is being withdrawn. Of course, they're calling our office and saying, hey, if I received the check, I would have just received the entire thing. If there was other debt that was outstanding, it's being withdrawn from it. Can you help provide any clarity there?
Yeah, that's there's certain provisions in certain areas that allow for an offset as far as the EIPs with respect to tax debt. EIP 1 was different than 2, and 3 was different than 1 and 2. Individuals should reach out to us if they're in that, but essentially we're following the law. We're trying to do our best. Where we can exercise discretion, we're exercising discretion.
Okay, let me ask about cryptocurrency, because I've had folks that have asked for a very confusing aspect of our law, which is, again, what I want to try to get from you is what clarity is needed on this. Anytime a cryptocurrency is cashed in or changed into a fiat currency, it's a taxable event because it's property that's actually moving into that. What would you suggest is the best place to be able to get information, and what do we need to do in Congress to be able to deal with the cryptocurrency issues and to be able to clarify what is a taxable event, non-taxable event, and how they can actually manage that?
Yeah, we have issued some guidance. We'll continue to issue guidance. We work with Treasury with respect to the issuance of guidance. And it's not too dissimilar than other property type issues and interests that people have. There are some uniqueness to it, in terms of split forks and such. But by and large, it's there. In terms of assisting us in that arena, obviously information reporting would be significant and huge, helping us going forward. That's kind of a universal answer to us on our behalf, but it definitely works. More information reporting assists us in the tax administration.
What would that look like for you to get more information reporting for that?
1099s.
Okay, for each of those events?
If they're electronically filed, yes. Paper filed, we probably might trim it down.
Obviously, lots of folks use cryptocurrency for a lot of transactions just in their daily or regular life. It may not be daily, it may be monthly, it may be weekly even for different events. So you would consider each of those a 1099 taxable event, whether it's...
I'm saying 1099s. I'm not necessarily saying that they're taxable events. Right. You can have transfers, you can split, you can do a lot of different things that are not taxable events. That's the guidance that we need to issue, and that's between us and Treasury to get that guidance out. But I think we've issued a considerable amount of guidance considering the volume of crypto that's out there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.